Oh, they really think we're stupid. They really think that we're stupid. These chomos and these chomo protectors really think we're stupid. This is not the same person. What do you think?
Way, this is Ghislaine Maxwell. This is the most recent photo of her released on Monday, February 9th, 2026. When you do a side-by-side comparison, the noses don't match, and either do the eyes. Looks like they've got the body double fitted with a cheap Amazon wig. When have we seen this before?
Reporter was basically asking LeBron, do you know if you want to retire after this year, or what do you want to do? And LeBron looked and just said, I just want to live.
Same uncertainty about next year? Do you have an inkling of what you want to do?
Hey, I want to live. When I know, you guys will know. Just want to live, that's all.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Hi, Cody. Get away from my man.
Robot, okay. Whose robot is that? Oh my God. What a call. Damn.
Oh my God. Hey man, this y'all man's Michael Jeffrey Jordan. This is Michael Jeffrey Jordan, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Man, I don't even want to look at this shit. I gotta look away. This shit is nasty. Fuck your shoes. Fuck that 6 ring. Fuck anything this nigga stand for, y'all. On funnel grade. Shit is fucking crazy out here.
A mysterious video has surfaced, and I can't give you too much information about this. The only thing I can say is it's captured by an unidentified fisherman who pulled in this thing from the water, and he has no idea what it is. This is an AI. This was an actual creature he pulled out of the water.
Wow.
Take a look at this. Comment below. Tell me what you think.
The hell is that? Has to be like some hybrid fish. It wasn't like resting, bro. First hybrid fish of 2026, man. Confirmed.
Pam Bondi says that if we prosecute everyone in the Epstein files, the whole system will collapse. Well, bitch, it's time to go ahead and get to collapsing. When niggas like me read the files, we seen that y'all been playing in our motherfucking face. We ready. We ready. Yeah, so our new government, can you just fuck with us a little bit more? Help us help y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's let this thing be a this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for everybody that wasn't in the Epstein files. That's who I'm voting for. We're going to start there, then we're going to start filtering out some more. Look at Pam. Pamela. If we prosecute everybody, the whole system will collapse. Fuck the system, bitch. That's what we trying to tell you. We don't fuck with the system, bitch. We ready for that bitch to collapse. And I don't know what it is about you, Donnie, but I don't trust you, bro. We ready for this shit to collapse. Fuck them. I don't care if you a deacon in the church. If you ready for this shit to collapse, throw them up. Yeah, y'all used to throw them up. Don't act like y'all don't know what this mean. This mean we ready for it to collapse, baby. I hope our new president can dance. I think that'll be pretty cool. As soon as they get done swearing in, they be like, oh, shit. Oh, America. I would be like, yeah, man, I love that nigga, man. It's gonna be good. The ones who was being nasty, y'all had y'all time. It's time for y'all to get out of here. Y'all need to go to jail, as a matter of fact. Here's to change. Here's to change. Everybody, come on, guys. Dear Jesus, hey, it's us. You know we always coming to you, you know what I'm saying? Even through our tribulations. Could you get them out the way? Because they was doing crazy stuff, and you know how you is by kids. You know how you don't play by kids, and you seen what they was doing. So just get them on out our way and give us somebody new and nice and friendly and can dance. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Do you know that hidden...
And what does that say about the system? She says if everybody gets prosecuted, and I guess in those files, the system will collapse. Like she said, man, people been waiting for it to collapse for a minute, bro. So people wouldn't even care. They would say, have at it, bro. We need a new system anyway, man. Build it up brick by brick, bro. That's actually crazy, man. If that doesn't happen just because they said the system will collapse. We need a whole new one, man. Start over, refresh. Need a clean slate.
Valley Ranch is made and owned by the company who makes Clorox, and they've been making it for 50 years. Hidden Valley Ranch, the dressing that 40% of Americans say is their favorite, is owned and manufactured by the company that makes bleach, Clorox. And they paid $8 million for it back in 1972, which is about $54 million in today's money. Here's how this happened. A plumber from Nebraska named Steve Henson was working construction in Alaska and started making his own buttermilk dressing to feed his crew. He eventually moved to California, bought a dude ranch, and served his dressing to guests who loved it so much they started taking it home in mayonnaise jars. By the early 70s, his mail-order seasoning packet business was exploding, and Clorox saw an opportunity to diversify beyond cleaning products. So they bought the whole thing. Under Clorox, Hidden Valley introduced the first shelf-stable bottled ranch in 1983, which is when ranch dressing truly took off. By 1992, it surpassed Italian to become the #1 dressing in America, and it's held that spot ever since. In 2017 alone, Hidden Valley products generated $450 million in revenue. That's 56 times what Clorox originally paid for it, and that's just 1 year. So the next time you dip your pizza in ranch, just remember that the same corporate parent also makes the bleach under your sink. They don't exactly advertise that connection, and now you know why. Did you know about this? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed stories like this, follow my page for more.
One of my followers was stalked by something in Appalachia, and she took a picture of it. Brooke is from Frederick County, Maryland, and she was out one day walking her dogs along the C&O Canal, which is near Brunswick, when something happened to her and her dogs that made her leave the area. This region is part of Appalachia, and I'll share another quick story before I show the picture of something else she encountered. As she and her Chow Husky mix, which is a very big dog, were walking along the trail, which she said it usually pulls her. It's so big and it's trying to run away. This day it changed. The dog became absolutely terrified. It dropped down, went behind her, and they both knew in that moment something was wrong, because she said the whole atmosphere changed and it got silent. Before she left, she took this picture. Off in the distance was a very clear shadow person, and I'll zoom in here, you can see it better. This wasn't her only encounter. One time she was walking her dogs. When the dogs had the same behavior, it ran behind her, it knew something was wrong, and she noticed what looked like a person ahead of them, and she described it as having more hair than normal. And when it noticed them, it ran behind a tree and then another tree until it went away. Let me know in the comments, have you ever seen a shadow person or anything else? I want to hear about it. Have a great day. God bless.
Seen something really messed up in the Jeffrey Epstein files. They found a file talking about them cloning celebrities so that they can do things to the version of that celebrity that they wanted. Wait, what? Yeah, so they were investing billions into cloning and trying to clone celebrities, specifically Britney Spears at the time, so that they could do things to a version of that clone. In the files, it stated that this clone might be like years old today if the clone is still alive.
Holy
and
smokes.
it's pretty much like Britney Spears' clone.
Yeah.
I'm sure in their head they think like cloning it, okay, boom, expendable.
And where do the bodies go after? Do you see that too with the trapdoor into the ocean?
Yeah, literally in that one picture, it shows in the bottom floor, it goes straight to the depths of the ocean.
Are they trying?
Oh, this is insane, man. The Epstein files, I literally learn something new every time I watch a clip together with you guys, Secrets. Cloning, bro, they were trying to clone celebrities that they wanted. Yeah, I guess we know what they wanted to do to those clones, man. But the fact that they had a trapdoor that led to the ocean, bro, man, these files are always mind-blowing.
The reporter was basically asking LeBron, do you know if you want to retire after this year, or what do you want to do? And LeBron looked and just said, I just want to live. But the way he said it, y'all, You gotta look at that man's face. That was like a little sad, regretful face. It's like a little smidget like he wanted to really cry, fool. Tell me I'm tripping. Look at this man's face when he said it.
Do you still have the same uncertainty about next year? Do you have an inkling of what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna live. When I know, you guys will know. I don't know. I have no idea. I just wanna live, that's all.
Y'all seen the jaw area when he said, I just want to live. Then he had the little... It was somebody in that crowd he was looking at too. Other than the reporter that asked him the question, he was looking at somebody else too. Y'all be thinking shit's a game all the time, fool. Go take a look at LeBron tattoos. Go look at all the little ritual symbols that he do during the game, after the game. All of that. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. Do y'all think his time may be up?
Lips are actually a magnet. Every word you speak pulls energy into your life. Every time you speak, you're sending out a frequency and pulling matching experiences back to you. Speak fear, and fear finds you. Speak love, and love moves closer. Your words are magnets, shaping your world. Most people don't realize they're attracting their struggles with their own voice. Every complaint, every doubt, every careless word strengthens the wrong reality. But when you speak with power, when you speak as if what you desire is already yours, you magnetize it into your life. Guard your lips. Speak only the words you want to live, because what you say, you summon. Remember, your lips are actually a magnet. Use them wisely and watch your world transform.
Yep, words are powerful, man.
The internet sleuths have dug up an old CIA documentary, and Erica Kirk is in it. Check this out.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made EMP. So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Okay, so apparently this clip is from a documentary called Black Start USA, and Erica Kirk, née Francevy, appears as a presenter or briefer on a topic of electromagnetic pulse, EMP threats, and vulnerabilities in the U.S. power grid. She is shown briefing or addressing a group of national security professionals, experts, and figures, including former CIA Director James Woolsey. The footage depicts her delivering information about potential EMP attacks which could originate from high-altitude detonations or other means, and the risk of the coordinated physical attacks that could lead to widespread blackouts or grid failure. This is framed in the context of discussing Black Start protocols, the untested procedures for starting the power grid after a major disruption. Wow.
And this is the teaching that the Truman Show hides in plain sight.
What the fuck? Nah, you don't find this suspicious? Call me out, this rabbit hole.
Truman's awakening begins when a star labeled Sirius falls from the sky between 2 pillars. Then there's the dome, the staircase, the all-seeing eye, and the grand architect. One of the Rothschilds was even a producer on the film.
Wow.
So the question is, what message is being encoded here? First, we need to understand Gnosticism. In Gnostic cosmology, the material world isn't created by the true God. Instead, it's a prison created by a false deity called the Demiurge.
What?
According to this belief, the Demiurge traps divine souls in matter, keeping them ignorant through deception and control. The uninitiated live in ignorance, controlled by false narratives and false gods. A fabricated dome world. Crazy. He's kept ignorant of true reality. In Gnostic terms, he represents the divine spark trapped in matter. Christoph, meaning of Christ, sits in a lunar command center, controlling everything like a god. He believes he's benevolent and is giving Truman a chance to live a good life. The Demiurge also believes his prison is paradise. She's the one trying to wake Truman up, breaking the rules to tell him that his world isn't real and he has to get out. Then there's Marlin, his best friend who appears with beer every time Truman questions reality. In Gnosticism, the Archons use intoxication and distraction to keep souls asleep and compliant. Truman's journey to break through the dome is the journey from illusion to reality. Another symbol used in the Truman Show is one we have all become much too familiar with, the Eye of Horus from ancient Egypt. It's the third eye of enlightenment, the pineal gland. It's the eye that looks at you through your phone's camera. And of course what appears on the back of the dollar bill. Truman's programmed fear is water. His father's sage drowning was created to keep him imprisoned. And what must he do to escape? Sail into Christoph's storm and experience the drowning he was programmed to fear, a symbolic death and rebirth. After his baptism into the mystery schools, he ascends the Freemasonic staircase of enlightenment.
This is what the elite believe, by the way.
There's 16 total steps, but they are reflected in the water below.
He comes to the wall.
As above, so below. And that makes it 32 steps, with his final step out of the door being the 33rd.
Correct, the 33rd basin.
There's one more layer we need to talk about. You.
Follow me for part 2.
Katy Perry was showing us what they were eating at those parties. Watch this.
And Katy Perry, ho, we didn't forget about this.
Now we know.
Let's talk about it.
Yep.
Because didn't you go to space? Wasn't so random, was it, huh? No, but seriously, Bon Appetit was the most bizarre music video, and it was actually what made me stop listening to Katy Perry altogether. This shit is sick and has been in our faces for way too long.
It's very weird.
Oh.
Do you see this? Do you see this? It's freaking nature, and it's freaking awesome. Woo!
It's hard not to see it. The evidence of our...
They're about to start holding people accountable that was on those EpiPen files. And they're starting with Prince Andrew. So if you don't know, Prince Andrew just got arrested. And he was arrested for suspicion of misconduct while in public office. Mind you, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was on those EpiPen files. And once they found that out, they removed him out of his residence, stripped him of being a prince. And now they just locked him up. They're saying that Andrew was forwarding emails to Jeffrey Epstein while he was a public official. What type of email? Now, you got to know that Prince Andrew is the same guy that was traveling around the world, speaking to different people for over 10 years, trying to foment relationships for the British government. So how did he get involved and in bed with Epstein? That's how. Trying to foment relationships. They're saying that this man was forwarding confidential documents to Jeffrey EpiPen. Mind you, they asked Prince Andrew how long he was dealing with Jeffrey Epstein, what type of relationship he had with Jeffrey Epstein. And apparently he lied because they found out he was dealing with him longer than he said he was dealing with him. Needless to say, this man right here had a lot of dirt on a lot of people. And it's only the beginning. Hopefully the United States follows suit. Pay attention.
Yo. You really think they're gonna follow suit though? Then I heard that he got out. He was in jail for I think a couple hours or something like that. But he got released. They're playing in front of our faces, bro.
They really think we're stupid. They really think that we're stupid. These chomos and these chomo protectors really think we're stupid. This is not the same person. What do you think?
This is Ghislaine Maxwell. This is the most recent photo of her released on Monday, February 9th, 2026. When you do a side-by-side comparison, the noses don't match, and either do the eyes. Looks like they've got the body double fitted with a cheap Amazon wig. When have we seen this before? Not only that, but the Friday before this picture was taken, New York Post conveniently got footage of Ghislaine Maxwell walking the yard in prison, and what do you know? They are now handing out umbrellas in jail. You know, to make sure her skin doesn't get damaged, or maybe so we don't see her face. The question now is, did she ever actually go to prison? She may have taken these photos in 2020, but the video from that same day seems to be somebody entirely different. So, what do you think? Did Ghislaine's appearance completely change in the last 6 years since she's been in prison? Or did they swap her out with a bad body double? As always, I want to hear.
I just saw something crazy and I can't unsee it, and you need to see it too. Here's Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what she looked like. Here she is, a few years later, maybe more recently, aged a little bit, but you can see what she looks like. Here she is in prison after her arrest. This is essentially her mugshot. Her hair's longer, she's changed her appearance. She was in hiding for a while. This is what she looks like the most recently since we've seen her. Up until her hearing with the House Oversight Committee just a week ago. Who the hell is this? This is the person, supposedly Ghislaine Maxwell, that testified before Congress. Look, this is supposed to be this? Are you kidding me? Who is this person?
trying to open up these little Epstein files. Talking about, is you 18?
The motherfuckers in the file wasn't even 18.
The fuck?
Was this on footage, or was he really in danger?
Are you alone? If I say somebody else, this will not be good.
Nature YouTuber Casey Sanders posted a video called Naked Man Found in Creek. And if this is real, I am very, very concerned for him. Casey was bow hunting alone in a remote area in the woods when he looked up and a naked man from the creek started chasing him with a stick. He got so scared, he was so thrown off by this, so he started recording.
I'm here with weapons and somebody standing in my creek naked. I mean, I'm not gonna shoot you. Are you alone? If I see somebody else, this will not be good. Where? You don't know where your clothes are? Nobody's with you.
Hey, back up, bro.
I mean, you gotta look at it from my standpoint. Hang on a minute, man. Hang on a minute. I got something to eat for you. Just don't do nothing stupid right now.
Holy crap. Casey also doesn't post videos like this. He doesn't have a viral page, and the rest of his videos are pretty standard. He didn't even edit this original video. He put the information in the caption, and it says this. I showed up to my stand to bow hunt on Thursday, October 2nd, and heard someone yell. I looked down to find a man standing in the creek holding a walking stick with not a stitch of clothing on him. Claimed he had been beaten up by some guys at Tomorrowland and dropped into the woods after they stripped him of everything. He spent days in the woods trying to find water, and then once he found a creek, he stuck to it. He recalled his number, and I got in touch with someone to come get him after I led him to the road. By far the craziest hunting experience I've ever had. Also, hi, I'm Grace. Can I be your horror girlie? Somebody in the comment section actually brought up a very smart point. They said that you need to immediately survey everything in the area except for the man in case he was being used as a distraction. If this is a large woods you could easily get lost in and people are already hunting, maybe somebody had ulterior motives. I don't know if this is staged or if this is real, but what I do know is that Tomorrowland doesn't sound like a place that I want to go to.
And before y'all even say anything about, oh, it's too early, I just woke up, bitch, so did I. And I never would have thought I would have seen his bald head ass sitting up there being weird as fuck to this last boy, bro. So when I first saw it, I was like, nah, he just an old man. This screenshot can't be what it looked like, especially not at a time like this. This is the worst time to be on national TV tickling and pinching a little child's butt, bro. That ain't yours. This one, it ain't yours at that. Or your niece, nephew, grandson, nothing. You just sitting here playing with this man. You're playing with this man booty right here in front of all of us, brother. All right, okay. Oh, my God. Okay, damn. What the fuck? Where's his dad?
I think it was next to him. It's like a light show, bro.
By the crust. So what is Mr. Nick Cannon trying to tell us over here? Because this was posted on his official Facebook page amongst a whole bunch of other pictures that he wanted to display. But this one particularly caught my eye, and this will also catch your eye as well too. Because if you guys know the symbolism behind this over here, then y'all will know that this over here could be a big conspiracy. Because
like all these freaking code words, bro. Hot dog boy, naps, walnut colored ice cream, milk, pasta sauce. What the hell, cheese? Pizza. Okay, so that's why pizza showed up a whole bunch of times in the files, bro. This code, man, everybody should need to memorize this, man, so they can stop trying to play in our faces and we know what they mean.
Nick Cannon started on Nickelodeon, and you guys know the allegations that's going on with Nickelodeon, with the whole Jeffrey Epstein. It's crazy how this whole Jeffrey Epstein, everything is coming out. Why would Nick Cannon put this out himself? Ride the crust with this whole goofy ass pizza suit on. Damn, what happened to Nick Cannon? It's like ever since he started speaking out about those fake people who stole our birthright, it's like now he's being messed with. What happened to the spiritual podcast that he used to have? What happened to the Dr. Sabi documentary he was supposed to do? Now they got him doing this stuff, y'all. There's got to be some type of ritual. And then he's got himself eating a piece of pizza. Do you guys know? Y'all, I'm sure you guys are familiar by this by now. You guys are not in the dark no more, man. This is 2026, and now he's using AI to show you guys what he has been doing this whole time. How many of you guys thought that he was scotch-free? I told y'all, man, every single one of them. Just because y'all didn't catch him on the list yet, every single one of them. I said this before. This right here is only the beginning. There's a lot more deeper, darker stuff that's about to come out. What can possibly be worse than eating babies? You guys are getting ready to find out. And I said this before, I don't think we're going to be getting GTA 6 because what's currently happening in our realm right now is GTA 6. But let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Crazy, man. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace and
with you, I just learned about money. There was a family in 2010 who was facing foreclosure on their home until they discovered a copy of a comic book that had the first ever appearance of Superman. They sold it at auction for $436,000, saving their home. Boston College offers a rule where employees' children can study for free if accepted. There was a janitor who worked at this college who has 5 kids, and they all got in, saving over $700,000 in their tuition. After a wealthy lawyer in Toronto passed away in 1926, in his will he promised his large fortune to whoever was the woman with the most children in Toronto. After over a decade of legal battles, 4 different women with 9 children each split the money, with the Toronto government taking the majority of it. To receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you actually have to pay almost $100,000 and go through an entire application process.
This man claims he found a fossilized dragon in his backyard.
Here, y'all. So it may look like a stone at first, a big piece of stone. The more he shows, the more I'm less convinced it's just a stone.
He's right here.
Okay, it definitely looks like it has a head and a body to it.
There's his wings. There's his wing right there. And this is the wing appendage. It's cracked right here. It's got 3 feathers. Yeah. Claws on the other side. Here's his head, man. Up close. See that?
I don't see it.
Here's the other side of his mouth.
Pretty convincing to me. Not saying it is real, but you never know.
His head is like Godzilla would look.
That is insane.
There's his claw.
Dude definitely found something odd on his property.
Yeah.
Wow. Stay weird, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Guys, the new passports for Canada, which makes you a subject of the king. If you're a Canadian citizen, you are a subject of the king. You can see the microchip in it. I'm not joking. Look at this. So, beautiful thing. I mean, it does look, I mean, if you have the old one, you know what I'm talking about. But look at this. You can actually see the microchip.
Chip right there.
That is the chip, dude. So that's what you scan, wham, bam. And it's like your phone, like it's an RFID. It knows kind of where you're at. Tracking, tracing. You know what would make this a lot easier, though? If you, instead of had a microchip on your passport, were microchipped yourself.
Nah.
So that's coming next. Look at this. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Canada requests in the name of His Majesty the King. This is serious, man. They had to change these ever since the Queen became deceased. All of those whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely without delay or hindrance. So if you go through it, you have to say, do not hinder me, dude, to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. This passport is property of the government of Canada. It must not be altered. You must take every precaution to safeguard it. This is a serious freaking document, man. Like, you cannot willy-nilly around with a passport. And I just think it's so interesting. What makes them put the microchip in there? So you can see it. Before it was like a secret. You had to peel back the freaking paperwork to find it. So then look what you got. You got birds. You got, oh, maple syrup. Ha, he's doing syrup on it. Bears, cubs, flowers, lilies. Are those teepees? Or trees, rather. People playing, monarch, loons, swimming, kayak, canoeing, rather. Camping, boat, plane. This next one's weird though. Like, okay, you got farming, cool, but except the wind turbines, we know those are a bit of a scheme. Bit of farm action, corn, and then we have this girl reading like on her laptop. I mean, whatever, man. Anyway, cool. Let me know about your passports.
On you. They were not putting freaking chips in passports, man. What's next, bro? Like I said, they're gonna try to put. Well, they already trying to put chips in people, man. Isn't that what Elon Musk is like doing? Neuralink. It's gonna get to the point where, bro, they won't want a chip for everything, bro, just so they can track us anywhere in the world, man. The fact that that's already rolled out and passports, Canadian passports as well, is that a sign what's coming in 2026?
West is seen with a 33rd degree double-headed eagle. We even see this in Grand Theft Auto on the submarine. The 33rd degree symbol is a complex symbol, many different symbols creating a more complex meaning. The sword represents the mind. It cuts through the air. Air corresponds with the mind. Fire is the spirit. Water is emotion. Earth is the body. The eagle looking left is looking into the past. The eagle looking right is looking into the future, representing analyzing the past to see what thought, emotions and actions has led you to this very point and what you can change now to create a better future. That's how you master time. The eagle is standing on top of the sword. It rules over the mind. It controls the mind, and the mind does not control it at this 33rd degree. The crown represents illumination. The crown chakra is open and allowing light energy from the higher self to be received, also representing self-mastery and control. It also represents unification over the left and the right, the masculine and feminine qualities. Intuition is aligned with action. The left and the right brain are unified, and they are fully transformed at this 33rd degree in an upward triangle. The upward triangle represents fire, which is a very transformative element, represents full transformation of the mind through self-mastery and aligning the left and right hemispheres of the brain and mastering time.
So they're all connected, bro.
I really hope that people will start to understand that the mark comes from a cashless system. I really hope that people will start to understand what is happening right now. I really hope and pray that people will stop putting their faith, their trust, their hope in a man, in a government system, and actually turn their eyes towards Jesus. I really hope that people will start getting back into the Word of God. Because there are too many people that are deceived right now. There are too many people with blinders on their hearts and on their eyes. There are too many people that just refuse to see what is happening right in front of their eyes. The first thing that Jesus said about the end times was, do not be deceived. The first thing that Jesus said about the period of time that we are all living in right now was, do not be deceived. Because he knows that Satan is clever. He knows that Satan is deceptive. He knows that Satan is crafty. And it is through those characteristics that Satan will set up his system. It is under the guise of something else. It is going to be under the guise of everything that you've ever wanted. It is going to be under the guise of convenience. I hope and I pray every single day that people will start praying for truth. That people will start praying for eyes to see. Because if you go to the God of this universe who knows what is going to happen, he knows what is going to happen tomorrow. If you ask him for wisdom, if you ask him for...
Oh. So now they're saying the ozone layer in Antarctica is healing. Ain't that suspicious?
Yeah.
Ain't that suspicious how only in Antarctica where nobody is, that it's healing itself? That's because they are playing in our faces. Ever notice how it only happens at the bottom of the world? Ever notice how it looks exactly like a Google Chrome logo? Ain't that suspicious? They been new, bro. Don't that look familiar? This is supposedly that hole at the pole. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Do y'all get what I'm saying? You motherfucker.
I understand it now.
Yeah. Yeah, we understand it now. The ozone layer ain't healing. It's recovering from something that they did. Yeah.
The United States has just clapped back at Saudi Arabia by introducing the world's largest spherical structure called, you ready? The Sphere. Located in, of course, Las Vegas. Its exterior alone is fitted with 1.2 million hockey puck-sized LEDs. And its interior is somehow even crazier because unlike most venues this size, the Sphere was specifically built for immersive experiences in cinema and performance. For example, the acts on stage will be dwarfed by the world's highest resolution wraparound LED screen, which covers most of the audience and can augment the concert experience with trippy animations or close-ups of the performers. It will have more than 160,000 speakers spread around the bowl that will deliver the same pristine sound to every seat, regardless of whether someone's at the top row or right down at the floor. The venue is also equipped with haptic seats that can vibrate to match whatever's happening on screen, like an earthquake, for example, and 4D machines that can create wind, temperature, and even scent effects. It is not set to open to the public until September this year. But until then, enjoy the roads with a whole lot of distracted drivers.
I've never seen a Sphere before, bro. Like, when they put an image up on it, is it like you actually see it, or do you have to look at it through your phone or something like that, man? It'll go through the comments, bro. Like I said, I've never seen a Sphere in person before, so I don't know how it works.
What? Who's this? Who is this right here?
Martin.
Because this doesn't look like Martin. He's sparring now? What is he about to do? A boxing match or something? Shh. Don't you say it. How is this possible, guys? Look at him. He's in better shape than me, you mother. Shh. Word is, he lost like 75 pounds, bro. How are these people doing that? Not only that, guys, he's 59. People are saying that he's pointing at us like it's a joke. We know what's going on here, Martin. Because I'm tired of you celebrities leaving and coming back looking better than ever. Do with sparring, you mother. This is the real Martin, guys. To lose 75 pounds, that's almost 100 pounds, bro. How, man? Let me know now. Not too long ago, you were staring at a fast food restaurant menu. I mean, Will Smith was trying to figure out what they're going to eat. You see what I'm talking about? But it's something I find interesting. Even Martin is looking at Will Smith like, who the hell is this guy? He never ages. He always looks the same. Shh, you could have fooled me. But Martin knows what's going on. Something's up with Will Smith, and we all know it. Notice how everybody looks like their agent except Will Smith.
You do look the same.
Now Martin Lawrence just came back new and improved. You ain't fooling nobody, Martin. I was just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. Martin Lawrence lost 75 pounds. I don't know how, but he did it. Shout out to him. I don't know. Let me know. I'm out.
Michael Jackson's Thriller wasn't about zombies. What is it about? You know Michael Jackson Thriller when he's like, he's tweaking out like this, and then he has the crazy eyes, and it looks like a zombie? You know what it's actually about, Gavin? They're actually kids. Oh. Full concept of the zombies and turning crazy at nighttime, the homeless people, midnight, is about the crisis at the time that Michael Jackson was trying to warn about what happens to all these people. The very end, remember when his eyes go crazy? His eyes turn what color? Yellow. Why? Because his eyes turned yellow. And in the music video, I think they were close to garbage. It didn't look pleasant. Like it looked like a back alley. And the dance. You know what I'm saying, bro? Oh my God.
Comfortable? You're not paying attention. Or something. For 5 straight months, doing 10-hour shifts, a robot at BMW was building cars. No breaks, no days off, no complaining. Just tirelessly working, getting the job done. This wasn't a demo, y'all. And it wasn't a test run either. This was straight to the point. This robot showed up to work like a human. Except for it didn't ask for no break, it didn't complain, none of that. It didn't stub its toe and be like, oh, I can't work, I gotta sit down, or my mental is killing me. Here's why this matters. If a robot can build cars nonstop, a company doesn't have to worry about paying nobody healthcare, no one calling out, nothing.
Yep.
That means faster production, that means the job is going to get done, lower cost, and then they don't have to have no humans doing the shit. Some people say that this is more progress, more efficiency, better technology. Y'all gotta remember, progress always replaces something. Factories used to be packed with hella humans, hella of us. Now, you'll catch like 2 supervisors and all machines. Once robots prove that they can work anywhere consistently without no breaks or nothing, what stops them from putting them in fast foods, warehouses, everywhere? Nothing. Yeah, it's true. Technology can make life easier, obviously, but a lot of people is going to get left behind because of this. A lot of jobs is going to be gone. I feel like we're literally watching the future replace us. This shit crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments.
It was preaching, bro. Like you said, if a company, man, could get all those robots in the warehouse working, like you said, for like 5-8 hours straight, no calling out, no making excuses, no argue, I guess, with people, man, just straight work. And plus, they don't, yeah, that means they don't have to pay, like you said, health insurance to the people. They're gonna go with the robots. 10 out of 10, bro. Like I said, these jobs, man, these easy jobs that people can freaking just apply for and get, they're gonna get replaced soon, man. Better find a side hustle. You gotta find a job where they can't try to replace you, man. Nowadays, bro, the way AI moving now, these robots looking like, man, they're taking over the warehouse jobs, man. Like you said, they about to become up for fast food next, bro. You don't get to see no humans inside. When you go to McDonald's, be like, "Can I take your order?" It's gonna be just straight robots, bro.
Sensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. What do we have in our houses? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
You're spitting, bro.
So you don't find it strange how similar the Tesla robots and the iRobots are? From the way that the cars look, how the robots are. Very strange. iRobot 2004, We Robot 2024. Even down to how they would end up in everybody's home. Like literally the same plot as iRobot. Everybody had a robot in their house to help them with the day-to-day chores. Until one day, they just switched on. And we all know how this predictive program shit works. First you see it in the movies, and then you see it in real life. And it's only a matter of time before everybody has one of these robots inside of their homes. And let's not forget, from time to time, these robots definitely have malfunctions. I just won't be taking a chance. But y'all let me know in the comment section. Do y'all think this is a reach, or was iRobot trying to tell us something? Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. And if you want to get more exclusive content like this, comment down below YouTube and I'm going to DM you the link.
This is why sometimes you're better off not honking or saying anything to anyone on the road, because people are crazy. This is Cantrell Settles. He was 21 years old when he was driving with his girlfriend by his side, and he was behind a car that was at a complete stop and it was a green light. So like any other person, he honked at this car, and little did he know that his life would be taken. So when Cantrell honks at this car in front of him, that car doesn't move, so he drives around the car and drives off. All of a sudden, the other car, which the driver was 23-year-old Deborah Benenfield, she starts driving behind Cantrell, follows him, and then shoots at his car, and it hits him in the chest. This is her. She was found by police and arrested, and I just think this is absolutely insane that this person got so angry over a honk, she took out a gun to shoot him. I'm not even kidding. I honked at someone yesterday for almost the same reason. This person was on their phone and it was a green light. I always say you never really know people's mental state on the road, so sometimes you're just better off moving on with your life, even though honking is completely legal and in this scenario, very valid.
That's why I stay away from that, bro. Road rage is real, man. That's how, bro. Driving, I don't even get into arguments. There's no point. It's not worth it, man. You wanna go around me? Let's go around me, bro. I ain't getting into no arguments on the road, bro. There are too many story seekers. Tell me down below, man, if you have any road rage stories. I wanna hear them.
Stop running up on Eric Adams with that bullshit. He is not the man no more. He cannot keep his cool. See, a lady at the airport said some shit she wasn't supposed to say to Eric Adams, and he almost caught a case. You don't believe me, right? Listen to this shit. Listen to this shit.
I would rather you punch me in the face.
What?
Okay, you think I fight too.
Boy.
Yes, I do. Yeah, good.
You heard what he said?
And I'm sure I got things everywhere.
Oh, no. He not playing. He not playing. So apparently, they was getting off a flight, and that person right there could have been antagonizing. She could have been saying some shit to him that she wasn't supposed to be saying, and he got fed up. And like I said, he almost caught a case. Y'all gotta know that he is not this person anymore. He not the man no more. He is a regular New York citizen. That's it. Don't run up on this man saying no shit you're not supposed to. You heard what he just said. He was about to show her the Brooklyn in him. He really not playing. He just put crypto on the street. He trying to get money. But he not playing with y'all. Do not run up on Eric Adams. He is liable to catch a case. He not the man no more.
Y'all are freaking out about Colorado and California not getting, but nobody's talking about Antarctica being so warm right now that they're talking about that you only need a turtleneck out there to survive, y'all.
After telling us how good of weather we have, this is the second day in a row that I've had to take off my parka out of the year, and I'm just in my turtleneck, and it feels pretty amazing.
Turtleneck in Antarctica is crazy, bro.
Good? Yeah. It's warm, ain't it? Never thought we'd be saying it's warm in Antarctica.
Okay, first of all, have you guys seen Antarctica sunsets lately? This was just a few days ago. Look at this, y'all. 3 sunsets in Antarctica. The guy was freaked out. Look at this. He's trying to see what else he sees, but 3 suns. Look at this, y'all. And then this was sometime last year. This thing is literally in here with us. What is this, y'all? This thing is literally a celestial body. It is gigantic. I hope you guys are paying attention to what's happening on the planet. The planet is waking up. I hope you guys know that snow is not natural. It is man-made. And now with the planet heating up, man, I hear sirens everywhere. Anybody else? But let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shift is here. Antarctica is feeling it.
30 facts about history that they'll never teach you in school. Part 8.
Talk about it.
Pocahontas was 12 years old. She would entertain white colonists by doing cartwheels without wearing any clothes. This is actually one of the few things we know about her that's indisputable thanks to so many written accounts. From the 40s to the 70s, many Ivy League colleges, including Yale, Harvard, and Princeton, required all incoming freshmen to have nude photos taken of them. Administrators claimed it was to gauge the rate of diseases like rickets and scoliosis, but many believe the true reason behind them was much creepier. Most of the photos have since been destroyed, but thousands still remain in the Smithsonian's possession. In 1940, Walt Disney hired 11 little people to dress up as Pinocchio and wave to people at the movie's premiere. He left them on a theater balcony with enough food and wine for the day, but there was no way for them to get down. By late afternoon, they had all taken off their thick, sweaty costumes and were naked, drunk, and swearing at innocent parents and their children.
This father's reaction after being confronted of trying to force his daughters, who are now deceased, to marry older men is absolutely disgusting. If you want to watch the prison interview plus learn the details of the story, head over to my YouTube channel. It's all there.
Wanted the girls to be wed in arranged marriages in Egypt, right?
Yes, arranged marriage now, this is big story because some people, they don't know what that means. They think we force a girl to marry the man we like, which is wrong.
Amina later wrote about her fears that you intended to, and these are her words, quote, sell them to the highest bidder, to an older man that she did not love, in a land that she said she hated.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
Very funny. Very funny, really. I'm laughing. Did you see me? I laugh. It's very funny.
Crazy history we're never taught in school. When Al Capone reached prison, he was diagnosed with neurosyphilis and eventually paroled early due to his limited mental capabilities. Only 3 objects have ever been found in the Great Pyramid of Giza. Pieces of wood, a copper hook, and a ball made of diorite, all discovered in 1872. Chang and Eng Bunker were conjoined twins who were brought to America at 18 years old to perform in a freak show. They escaped and settled in North Carolina, becoming U.S. citizens, owning slaves, marrying sisters, and producing 21 children together. 3 men escaped Alcatraz in a raft made of raincoats, and the FBI never found them. One man in the Middle Ages wrote a book claiming that witches were stealing men's private parts and keeping them as pets, ultimately leading to the European witch trials. There used to be a branch of the Nile River that ran right by the Great Pyramids. This is charcoal graffiti of gladiators drawn by children that was discovered in Pompeii.
You have to hear
More
this.
you know.
A Missouri man who lives inside of a cemetery actually saw the Grim Reaper. He said that he was in his house watching TV at about 3 o'clock in the morning when he heard a huge crash outside.
Oh my gosh.
Soon after he heard sirens. And
I decided to step out and see what was happening. I walked through the graveyard like a dumbass.
Cars,
Damn it, man.
firefighters, and an ambulance arriving. He walked through the
I wish he would
cemetery
attack me
to
in
get a
this
better
shit.
view of what was going on. As he looked down from the top of the hill, he saw that it was a horrific car accident, a head-on collision between 2 cars, during which one of the drivers actually died at the scene.
He got it closer
After
to
watching
exactly what I
the
said than the other
paramedics
guy,
took
but he
it
left
over,
out the part where I
decided
scared
to
the
start
cop.
heading home. But then, all of the sudden,
And
he
when
heard
I
something
jumped in
drop
bed with
down
Amber,
from the tree beside
pulled the
him.
covers
He
up over
turned
my
around
head.
to see what it was, and standing right in front of him was a strange, gray, faceless, humanoid figure. His heart jumped up into his throat, and he abruptly beelined it back home. He continued to hear this creature behind him, but he never
sort of
looked back.
dumbass.
He got home and immediately locked the doors.
He just debunked the story, man. Like I said, watching these videos together with you guys, seekers, you always gotta do your own research, man. He just debunked it to us in real time. So, guess that story wasn't true. It's an edit, man. Tell me if y'all expert level at spotting out the edits. I know I can't be the only one.
Let's talk about one of the most disturbing final bosses in video game history. God from Silent Hill 3. The objective of the antagonist in Silent Hill 3 is to birth the new god that Heather Mason is carrying inside of her. In fact, every time you die in the game, the demon behind me named Valtiel revives Heather. They want this new god to be born no matter what the cost. By the end of the game, Heather ends up getting rid of the god inside of her. But before she can deal the final blow, the main antagonist, Claudia here, ends up devouring the god right in front of her, trying to complete the ritual. Except the ritual fails big time. The god is born prematurely, misshapen, and only half-formed, which gives Heather the perfect opportunity to finish it off for good. Fun fact, the face that Valtiel gives God is supposed to look like Alessa Gillespie.
Whoa. I never knew that. That happened in
A mother
that game.
does the most unthinkable act to her young children. Lamora Williams will spend the rest of her life in prison after she knowingly and intentionally killed her 2 toddler sons by placing them in an oven and turning it on. She was convicted of 14 charges, including murder, in the October 2017 deaths of her sons Kayonte Penn, 2, and 1-year-old Jakarta Penn. Williams contacted police claiming she found her children dead in her Atlanta apartment. Williams reported a stove on Jakarta's head, and Kayonte on the floor with severe injuries. Despite Williams' claim that a caregiver was responsible, investigators concluded she had placed the children in the oven the night before. The kids' father, Jamil Penn, called the scene as being like a real horror movie. He claimed Williams' video called him after the killing, showing his motionless children on the ground. Williams was said to have suffered from a long history of mental illness that was brought on by her father's passing when she was 19 and being a single mother of 4. After her conviction, Williams was quickly sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 35 years.
Authorities have
Cold
stopped
world.
investigating the case of a brazen thief who targeted a Japanese nursery school, even though the perpetrator is still on the loose. The crime spree began a few weeks ago when staff arrived to find more than a dozen indoor shoes missing from the cubbies where staff and students change into them before entering the main part of the building, as is customary in Japanese schools. The next day, even more shoes went missing, leading authorities to set up surveillance cameras around the school. And that's when they caught the unexpected culprit in action. Security footage revealed this weasel specifically selecting white canvas shoes, possibly because they were the lightest to carry, and then running off with them into the night. While weasels are known for collecting soft materials to build cozy nests for themselves and their families, this particular shoe enthusiast showed impeccable taste, making off with 22 canvas shoes in total. Although the stolen shoes were never recovered, the children were delighted to learn that their missing footwear might be helping to keep a wild friend warm and comfortable. These days, the cubbies are protected by netting overnight, but the little weasel's shoe shopping spree has become a favorite story at the school. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
This is why you should never run a marathon without changing your shoes or socks at least once. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up like this guy who ran 100 miles without changing a single time.
Oh, the pinkies. Oh, how do you
Dude.
And then committing.
Change your socks, man. That's what we all took from this that clip, bro. You should change it anyway, but definitely, bro. We saw this man in 4K, man. He ran a marathon too, wasn't changing the sock. Guess you can stop, man. Or have something ready, bro. That's insane.
The alleged crime. You see her loading up her car after shopping. This all happened.
So that lifestyle influencer stole more than $500 worth of stuff from Target. She recorded everything and then went home and posted a haul. It was said that she was scanning fake barcodes, so instead of scanning the items in her cart, she replaced them with cheaper items and scanned those instead. And I mean, we've all seen videos of people shoplifting at Target, Walmart, and all that, but the reason why this video went so viral is because not only did she steal all these items, but she was recording herself stealing, and then she went home, she did a haul, and she also did a day in the life with all the items that she stole. And the only reason she even got caught was because the footage from Target was posted on social media in hopes that someone can recognize her, and one of her followers were like, I follow this influencer on TikTok and Instagram. So they reached out, and that's how they caught her. They were able to match the footage of her stealing at Target with the footage that she took to post on her TikTok, showing off everything that she stole on that day. Now, another reason why this went so viral is because people are questioning how authentic is everything that we see on social media. You know, you see this woman who has this gorgeous house, beautiful furniture, everything just seems to be put together perfectly. And little did you know, she was actually stealing this entire time. This creator has gone back to posting but has turned off all her comments, and it just makes me wonder, how are you able to risk your life, your record, you know, your family, just to have this image on social media that is completely false?
Part 7.
It's a farce, bro. I've said it before, I'll say it again, man. Social media people, they want you to see things that they control. So you don't really know what's going on behind the picture, man. It's like sleight of hand. It's all a trick. Social media, bro. People seekers, man. Wake up.
79 of some of the creepiest submechanophobia things I've ever seen. This is a gigantic dragon that is in water in Efteling again. His name is Joris de Draak, which loosely translates to George and the Dragon. I don't know why. This is just the dragon. Where the hell is George? Dutch really makes no sense sometimes. But yeah, this gigantic animatronic is sitting in like this bog, in like this swamp. Someone come get Donkey and come get his girlfriend out of here. If you don't like Shrek, I don't like you. Also, bro's neck looks like a Christmas tree. Here's another terrifying photo of it. Can you imagine falling in this dirty water with this gigantic moving dragon that spits fire? I couldn't. Also, you actually see it when you're on a roller coaster. So you could either see it when you're walking on the path, or if you're on a roller coaster and you go right past it. I'd be screaming for 2 reasons. The video I have doesn't show it in the actual water, but it shows it breathing fire, and it is very creepy the way it moves. So let me know how you would feel if you were to fall in the water or even just see this thing normally. I wouldn't like it at all.
Me either. It's not really affecting me though. They said some people was creeped out by it. I don't think it really got to me. It's still scary though. That's at it, man. Come on. We see through that.
There is something, though, that I have to tell you that I have not told you throughout this entire documentary. There's a reason why Nico knows so much about human sacrifice and the power of human blood. I'm gonna let Nico explain all this to you himself.
I went there and he opened the door. I stepped inside, he closed the door. That's when I pulled out the handgun and I shot him in the face. He fell down and I shot him a few other times in the skull. And it lasted 15 minutes more or less before he actually died because there were small caliber bullets.
That's right. Nico is one of the most famous convicted murderers in all of France, nicknamed the Vampire of Paris because he used to consume human flesh and drink human blood.
I'm Nico Clo, and I was born 52 years ago in Cameroon in Africa. My father...
Liam's case
Whoa.
reminds me of Elisa Lam. There was an update showing the surveillance footage. This footage gives off a very strange and eerie vibe, and people are comparing it to Elisa Lam. His behavior in the footage seems very odd and confusing, similarly to what happened at the Cecil Hotel. In both, something feels very off and unexplained. Also, of course, I'm not trying to make light of any tragedies, like this is really sad, I'm just talking about what's going on. The Cecil Hotel is infamous for its history of unexplained death, criminal activity, eerie events, and this viral footage of Elisa Lam in the elevator before her mysterious death. It's become a symbol for conspiracies and urban legends and just mystery. The surveillance footage in both cases are leaving people wondering what happened before and after the cameras caught the moment, because in both, everybody's saying something is off. Cecil Hotel is famous for all of the history of creepy and mysterious things happening there, and that's why people are really curious about it. In the same way, when a celebrity like Liam starts acting strangely, it catches a lot of people's attention. Do you think something deeper is going on? Hit the plus for more conspiracies. It really helps when you interact.
When I tell
What's
you
going
this
on with
story,
Cecil
the
Hotel?
No Sleep subreddit kept me up all night. First of all, posted anonymously, but it's from a child psychiatrist living out in New York City. Now, he claimed he had an experience in the middle of the night when he woke up. He said he found a child scratching at his apartment window with bloodied fingers, which, as unnerving as it is, he had chalked it up as maybe some kind of creepy anomaly. However, the following night when he woke up in his bedroom, he sensed some kind of a presence in the room. When he turned over in his bed, he came face to face with the same boy who was staring at him from the edge of his bed. So somehow this boy had broken into the apartment, and he eventually led the psychiatrist to his home in the city, which happened to be a foster home. And as it turns out, he had been returned from a number of foster families who all thought there was something wrong with him. Eerie coincidence, the next day this psychiatrist finds out he is appointed to the boy as his patient. It was like this child was stalking the guy. And if you gotta know what happens next, this is the opening plot for Before, now streaming on Apple TV.
Stillwater. I can't believe I've been making these videos for almost 5 months, and I have not talked about the terror of Stillwater. By the way, I am very sick right now, so if I sound like a frog, that's why. Stillwater is one of the most terrifying things, especially to me, but in general, it is very, very dangerous and filled with millions of microorganisms, including brain-eating parasites. You don't want to ever fall in this. Oh, and by the way, those stairs being under the water like that for I don't even know how long, if you were to go on those stairs, they would immediately break with the weight of your body, and you would crash down and be in that water with all of that underwater stuff. Underwater mechanics, underwater stairs, no thank you. Who wants to go in the Stillwater Ussy? Not me. This is an abandoned pool that I found a picture of. Look at all the lovely infectious diseases just chilling on top like that. Here's some more images to music. How do you feel about all these?
Not I. I would not be on this. Brain eating amoeba? They need to freaking put like a warning sign or the
When I tell you this story on the No Sleep subreddit kept me up all night. First of all, posted anonymously, but it's from a child psychiatrist living out in New York City. Now, he claimed he had an experience in the middle of the night when he woke up. He said he found a child scratching at his apartment window with bloodied fingers, which, as unnerving as it is, he had chalked it up as maybe some kind of creepy anomaly. However, the following night when he woke up in his bedroom, he sensed some kind of a presence in the room. When he turned over in his bed, he came face to face with the same boy who was staring at him from the edge of his bed. So somehow this boy had broken into the apartment, and he eventually led the psychiatrist to his home in the city, which happened to be a foster home. And as it turns out, he had been returned from a number of foster families who all thought there was something wrong with him. Eerie coincidence, the next day this psychiatrist finds out he is appointed to the boy as his patient. It was like this child was stalking the guy. And if you gotta know what happens next, this is the opening plot for Before, now streaming on Apple TV.
Should I check that out?
Dangerous man on earth dubbed as the White Masked Man. There is some creepy ass stuff going on in Mexico at the moment. You may have seen this video a long time ago. Now you probably remember at the start of the year and last year when we had the whole urban legend and talk about the Serbian dancing lady. This is quite similar, but something really creepy about it. But this guy has actually been in the headlines for quite some time when he broke into the news back in 2023. Now this white man is often spotted around the streets of Mexico, just walking around, never wearing anything new. He lurks around and has what looks like blood coming from his mouth non-stop. Now you would think this is just a Halloween costume, but he has been wearing this every single day for nearly 2 years now. One night, apparently a young girl was just doing a jog through her town in the evening. She spotted this guy on the other side of the road just stood there, waving, staring at her. As far as we know, he hasn't actually committed any crimes, but we actually don't know. And many people are saying he's taking a lot of inspiration from the Terrifier. Is this just a guy who is cosplaying, or is it something a lot more disturbing? And what the hell is bro eating?
Yeah, what was in bro's mouth, man? I do not know. It looked like he was foaming at the damn mouth. And it did seem like he looked like Art the Clown. Don't let those other eggs get to his head, man. That's an edit.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. This wanted fugitive from an Ohio case 20 years ago was found working as a police officer. The New Zealand airport just put a 3-minute time limit on all goodbye hugs. A couple made guests buy $300 tickets to attend their wedding. This woman ran over her boyfriend while going to couples therapy. A family was told that their daughter had checked out of a hospital, but in reality she had passed away. An Alaska Airlines flight was turned around after the pilot admitted that he was not certified to land the plane. An AI model changed its own code in order to give itself more time. A 3D printed community in Texas is almost finished. A man threatened a Burger King worker after not taking drugs as payment and got 143 years in prison. A Chipotle employee says that their boss chased him out with a gun for not taking out the trash. Utility companies in Louisiana want state regulators to allow them to fine customers for lost profits from energy efficiency initiatives.
That doesn't even make sense.
Were the parents of Kelly Marvera in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. One night a house fire broke out and authorities told the parents that their 10-day-old baby Delimar had perished in the fire. And it wasn't until 6 years later that Luce was at a birthday party and saw a little girl named Aaliyah and instantly had a gut feeling that it was actually her child. Luce grabbed a strand of the girl's hair and sent it off to the police for DNA testing, which later confirmed that it was her daughter Delimar. Caroline Correa, who was a distant friend of a family member, was charged and found guilty of kidnapping and arson. She was living with Delimar just 15 miles away in New Jersey. Correa was sentenced to life in prison. Delimar was returned to her real family and now at 26 years old is speaking out in a 3-part documentary to explain what life was like coping with a brain
Someone made a
Imagine, man, you thinking your daughter, your child is going through that pain and going at a random birthday party, having a gut feeling, and finding out that, bro, one of your friends took your child. I can't even imagine what that's like, man. This world, some bizarre things goes on.
Punch-Out style horror game, and it's absolutely free. Let's talk about Porkbound. This is one of the strangest horror games I've played all year, but it actually works. And it really is like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out as a horror game. You play as a young boxer named Aaron who works on his family's pig farm. And not only is he dealing with bullies like here, he's dealing with the death of his brother. But one night, the bullies actually show up to the pig farm to further taunt Aaron. And then everything starts to go wrong. What is happening to the pigs, and why do they look like this? What follows is a series of Punch-Out style boss fights with more and more disturbing looking pig-like creatures. And when I say Punch-Out, I really do mean Punch-Out. The game plays basically exactly the same way, but as you're beating the bosses, there's a greater story to uncover. Now, I do have a full playthrough of this game on my channel if you're interested, so I don't want to spoil the story here, but the game is also free, so I definitely encourage you to check it out for yourself.
Punch-Out?
Talking about the possible serial killer in Grand Junction, Colorado, let me tell you about one of their most infamous murder cases. The Blacks were a picture-perfect family of born-again Christians until November 13th, 2001, when Michael came home to a pool of blood. His wife, Jennifer, and 6-year-old daughter, Abby, missing. The back door was left open, Jennifer's purse was spilled out on the floor, and her jewelry was missing. But when authorities looked at the crime scene, something was off. If a stranger had broken into their home, why would they leave items of value behind, like guns and cash? And why would they move the bodies in Jennifer's van and return it to the family's garage? In May the following year, investigators start digging through the Mesa County landfill. And after removing 3,000 tons of trash, they find the mummified remains of Jennifer Black, wrapped in a tent and surrounded by trash from her husband's workplace. Michael was convicted for only his wife's murder in 2004, but 13 years later he got a second shot at freedom. It turns out a juror lied on her questionnaire about being a victim of DV. In 2018 he got the same result, life in prison without the possibility of parole. And despite being convicted twice, he refuses to reveal the location of his 6-year-old daughter Abby. It's believed her remains are still
Disgusting, man. Truly. Be your own blood. Heartbreaking story. That's sad, man. The expert level.
DNA test, which helped solve a cold case and put her grandmother in jail. In June of 1997, the remains of a deceased infant were found inside a campground pit toilet at the Garnett Lake Campground in Michigan. It was a toilet that needed to be cleaned by an employee, so they used a suction hose to try and clean it. That's when they realized that something had been flushed down that was causing it to be clogged, and it was a newborn baby. An autopsy was done on that baby girl, and it revealed that she was full term, so she was around 36 to 42 weeks. They had no identity for the victim, so they named her baby Garnett. Once the local community had heard about this case, they were looking for answers because they had no idea who could have done this. Unfortunately, this case became a cold case, and they would not find answers until 25 years later. This girl on TikTok named Jenna made a Get Ready With Me video talking about how she had purchased a Ancestry DNA kit. She spat in the tube, sent it off, and got her results. And about a year later, in 2022, a police officer called her and told her that they had reopened a case from about 25 years ago and that her DNA was a direct match to the victim in the case. Police end up taking a sample of Jenna's mom's DNA. With that and Jenna's DNA, they're finally able to solve the case of baby Garnett. With the information now that police had, it revealed that baby Garnett was the sibling of Jenna's mom and also the deceased aunt of Jenna. Both Jenna and her mom were aware of this case because it would be rare for someone in the local community not to know about it, and I'm sure that they were very shocked to find out that they were actually related to the victim in the case. In July 2022, Jenna's grandmother, Nancy Gurwatowski, would be arrested. She would be charged with murder, involuntary manslaughter, and concealing the death of an individual. The state alleges that Nancy had delivered the baby at her home and did not seek any kind of medical intervention to try and save the baby. Instead, she hid the baby in an outhouse in the campground. In October of 2023, Nancy was released on a bond, but she had to stay home and wear a GPS tracking device. In May of this year, it was revealed that Nancy would stand trial for the case.
Nancy is expected to appear for a motion hearing in court on December 12th, and I'm sure we will get some more information soon. This is all the information that is out there right now. I'm going to tag Jenna's account in my caption so you can go check out her video so you can hear the story in her own words. And remember to go get those DNA test kits.
What if I told you that the Church of England banned Christmas in 1647? Well, you can't spell Santa without Satan. So, is Santa Claus really Satan, the devil in disguise? Think about it. Do you really believe people just made up a story about a 350-pound man stuffing himself down your chimney? No. The World Book Encyclopedia admits that this concept originated from the Norse legend of Hertha, a so-called goddess who would appear in fireplaces to bring good luck to the home. A devilish spirit could easily pass through a chimney and a fireplace, right? And it doesn't stop there. Druid homeowners would leave treats, milk, and pastries to appease this god who came down their chimneys. Sound familiar? That's right, it's all about worship. Even today, many religions leave milk and food in front of their idols. Now let's talk about stockings, leaving them out for Santa. This tradition is eerily similar to witchcraft practices, where socks or personal items are used in spells to target the victim. Just like how, as kids, we're told to leave teeth out for the tooth fairy. It's the same trap. So, yes, Santa will leave you some great gifts in your stockings, for sure. Oh, and here's the kicker. The word Santa is a true anagram of Satan. Yet many people believe Santa Claus is based on a priest named Saint Nicholas. But guess what? That priest never even existed. The Second Vatican Council in the 1970s openly admitted it was all a fabrication. And don't forget, people used to call the devil Old Nick. They're rubbing it right in your face. Some speculate this nickname comes from German and Scandinavian words, starting with Nick, which were used for dangerous supernatural creatures. So, who's really coming down your chimney this Christmas? Follow my backup account and leave a comment for part 2, because there's more to this than meets the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
How am I just finding out now that there's going to be an Olympics next year where the athletes are allowed to take performance-enhancing drugs?
What?
It's called the Enhanced Games, and while it's got nothing to do with the Olympics organization, in fact, I don't think they like this idea at all, they promise to have all of the same events, including freaking combat sports, while the athletes can pump, juice, and dope however they see fit. The founder, Aaron D'Souza, says that they want to break every world record there is, and claim that these games will fundamentally change the trajectory of not just sports, but humanity as a whole. However, not everyone's on board with the idea. The head of the US anti-doping agency called it a dangerous clown show. Two-time Olympic champion Kieran Perkins said it was borderline criminal and that someone would die if it was allowed to go ahead. Now, in response to the criticism, the games actually believe that sport could be safer without drug testing, saying that because athletes would be able to openly seek performance-enhancing drugs, they wouldn't have to buy them from shady illicit sources, and that medical advice and monitoring will be on hand at all times to pick up any danger signs in the athlete's systems. That's not even the part that I found the most interesting, because they also claim that most Olympians don't get paid a salary and are driven into debt.
I started driving for DoorDash.
I worked at Panera. Okay, the financial strain is huge.
Highlighting that the tennis players who lose the first round of Wimbledon take home double the amount of prize money that a gold medal winning US Olympian would receive. They say that any athlete who decides to compete in the Enhanced Games will receive a base salary and compete for prize winnings which will be larger than any other comparable event in history. So the question is this a dangerous idea that undermines all of the sports, or a genius idea that disrupts a system that needs to be changed?
This is what happened to this.
I think that's a dangerous idea, man. But once again, what did it all come down to, man? The root. It came down to the root of all evil, as I say, man. Money. People, they're doing this for money, man. And I'm guaranteed there's going to be probably a lot of people in those games, man, just because the money they're going to get at the end of that event. But it ain't worth it, man. That's crazy that they're actually going to go through with that.
his fiancée that went missing 6 days before her wedding day. On September 8th, 2009, 24-year-old Annie Lay vanished while attending Yale, where she studied pharmacology. Not only was Annie completing graduate school, but she was also working at Yale's Animal Research Center. On this night, Annie's roommate became extremely worried when she failed to come home. Her roommate immediately reported Annie missing, and when police took a look at the surveillance footage, Annie was seen entering the Animal Research building at around 10 a.m. but was never seen leaving. When police entered the lab that Annie was in, they found her personal items, but she was nowhere to be found. At first, investigators believed that Annie got cold feet and ran away because her wedding was in a couple of days. But when investigators discovered that 24-year-old lab technician Raymond Clark was the only person who had access to Annie's lab room that day, they started to take a closer look at him. Investigators began looking into all the data from everyone's access cards, and they discovered that not only did Annie not leave the building that day, but she also entered room G13 and she never left that room either. But that's not all. They also noticed that Raymond used his access card 55 times that day to go in and out of the labs. Bloodstains, Raymond's DNA, and a piece of clothing that Annie wore on that day were also found in the lab room. And a few days after Annie's disappearance, the building began to smell like human decomposition. Cadaver dogs led investigators into a restroom in front of the lab room, and Annie's body was found behind a toilet inside a panel. And get this, Annie's body was found on the same day that she was supposed to get married. It's believed that Raymond took Annie's life because he wanted to be with her and because her wedding was coming up. Raymond was sentenced to 44 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Jealousy, evil thing.
After she found out what he did to the children. Terry Weems and James Weems Jr. both own this daycare center called Kids Castle. James was a retired police officer, but at the daycare he worked as a bus driver for 2 years. A police officer confronted Shantiri and they told her that her husband was under investigation for SAing a child and that during the time the daycare would be shut down. Shantiri talked to James and asked him about the whole situation, and he said he had done nothing, and at the time she did believe him. A mother of a child from the daycare ends up talking to Shantiri, and she tells her that James is responsible, and she could just tell by the look on the mom's face that she was not lying. Once Shantiri hears this, she feels like her world is falling apart. She's truly heartbroken. That's when she realizes that she has to take matters into her own hands. Shantiri and James were staying at a hotel room in Washington, D.C. when she decided that she was going to confront him about the allegations. The two end up getting in an argument, and that's when Shantiri shoots James in the neck and the thigh.
Damn.
Shantiri states that she wanted to paralyze James because she was just so angry. Shantiri pled guilty to aggravated assault and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. As for James, he faces over 30 counts of child SA charges.
You guys, this is crazy. This couple from China was executed on Wednesday because they threw his 2 small children out of 15-story apartment windows so they could start a new life together. Her name is Ye Chengchen and his name is Zhang Bo. And when they started seeing each other, he never told her that he was married and had kids. So when she found out, she wanted all 3 of them out of the picture. He eventually divorced his wife in February of 2020. They had a 2-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and their custody agreement said that the mom would have the daughter and he would have the son until he turned 6, and then the son would go and live with the mom. But Ye apparently saw the kids as being a burden and an obstacle on them being able to have a future together. So over the course of the next 9 months, she urged and eventually persuaded him to get rid of the kids. In November of 2020, he called his ex-wife and asked if he could have the daughter for the day. And when she got there, the kids were playing near this window, and according to reports, he allegedly lifted the kids by their legs and just threw them out. He tried telling police that he had been asleep and had no idea that anything had even happened until he heard neighbors screaming, but authorities called BS on that pretty quick. They were both found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, and they were sentenced to death in December of 2021. But then there was this lengthy appeals process, and the court said that their first decision was absolutely appropriate, and they upheld their sentence. This is the kid's mom. As you can imagine, she was completely beside herself.
Things people do in relationships.
Somebody hearing their mom call out their name when when their mom is not home has a darker context to it that makes it so much scarier, and I haven't seen anyone talking about this.
Okay. Is that a spirit or something?
Then what's your name then?
No answer.
The video was posted in 2023 by TikTok users stuck in a fake reality. And after this experience, whatever this thing was apparently came back. This time using a different but equally familiar voice.
Don't open that door.
Now, all of these posts are hashtagged with ARG, aka alternate reality game, so it's safe to say that Gabe is not claiming that any of this is actually real, but I've heard it circling with a theory that it happened in the Appalachian Mountains, that it's a mimic, while the true story is a little bit weirder, because whatever this was, it basically found Gabe in the back rooms. Stay spooky, friends.
This woman was...
So that was all based on a game, and not, I guess there wasn't no validity to it, because they had the backgrounds and shit said it was in the Appalachian Mountains. What do you guys think about that one? Edit, or was that real?
Was bit by this priest when she tried to receive the Holy Communion.
Tried to force it into my mouth. And I was like, no, you're not going to do that. And he's like, you want the bread, right? And I was like, not this way. So again, I'm not going to front. I went and I tried to grab another cookie, and that's when he literally grabbed my hand, and he just bit me, and I tried to just back away, but it was very indented before, and then, volunteer. Yeah, people that stay in church right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and you want to press charges?
Yes.
Okay.
This happened in Florida during a Sunday Mass at St. Thomas Aquinas Church when this woman came up to receive the Holy Communion and was denied by the priest. She then put her hand inside where the priest held the host and tried to take it for herself. The priest then bit her arm so that she would let go, and he said that he had no other choice and that it's his duty to protect the Holy Communion. Now, this woman argues that the priest refused to give her the communion because she's a lesbian. But when authorities spoke to the priest, he said that he didn't even know that information and clarified that there's a rule that before anyone receives the communion, they need to confess first, which she apparently didn't do.
You said it, and the nice lady out there said the same thing, that as long as you do the correct steps for the religion, you can receive communion just like everybody else.
Of course.
Okay.
I know people who are homosexuals. They are not in a relationship. They want to be good Christians. They are following the rules, and I give them the communion. I'm not judging them. It's not my,
But this woman said that she genuinely felt like she was treated this way because of her sexual orientation and will be pressing charges.
These are videos you can never watch at night. We all know how there's some videos where you just can't watch them at night because they're that scary.
Yep.
Well, in this series, I'll be showing you all of those videos. So be ready to get terrified.
Who are you? What's wrong with you?
Well, I know I'm not sleeping after watching that video. This video has been going viral recently and nobody knows the origins of it. It shows what appears to be a ghostly woman standing outside of some man's window at night. And she says something took her daughter and did this to her. But nobody knows what that is. The man who uploaded the video hasn't updated anybody on if he's seen her again, or if he's okay, leaving people to worry about him. But I can't imagine looking out my window at night and seeing this.
This video is
I feel like that was an
terrifying,
edit.
especially if you have children, so please be warned before watching. On the 19th of April, a group of school children were out playing in broad daylight. They were students of Black Forest Hills Elementary School in Colorado. At around 2:20 p.m. on the day in question, one of the 5th graders' lives would be changed forever. CCTV captured an absolutely horrifying experience. 33-year-old ex-offender Solomon Galligan chased and attempted to kidnap one of the small children.
What?
Luckily, he tripped over a blanket as he tried to pursue the little boy. He continued to lunge at the small child as the kid screamed stranger danger
Nobody
to
helped?
teachers. Now, initially, Solomon did manage to flee the area and escape for a short while. The child, though, managed to give staff a description of the man. The teachers sent out an email alerting the parents to the danger, and one of the parents actually spotted him in a local Walgreens about a mile away. They reported this to police, and police turned up and arrested him. The little boy's mum said he was so traumatized he hadn't slept in 3 days. She says that it was thanks to the quick thinking of the other students who screamed and alerted the teachers that his life was saved. Several parents state that their children reported back to them that the teachers at the time of the incident were just stood on their phones. Solomon is being held in jail and is charged with child abuse and attempted kidnapping. Solomon actually already has an extensive criminal history and has been convicted of SA previously, but for some reason was roaming free.
This is the India train video, one of the worst videos on the internet explained.
Break it down.
This video that I'm about to explain is extremely awful, and it's known as one of the worst and most gruesome accidents ever recorded. The video was recorded in India, and it's around 30-ish seconds long. The video starts, and you are immediately hit with a disturbing sight. You see the aftermath of a man who had just gotten hit by a train, and it's likely this man had did this to himself. The man has a pretty large crowd around him filming the situation on their phones. The man has been completely cut in half, and you can see his intestines hanging out of his body. And crazy enough, the man is still conscious and aware, but he is in a state of extreme shock. The crowd surrounding him, which also includes children, continue to look on and observe. And despite being cut in half, the man appears to stand up on his hands, and he manages to do this for about a second, until he hits the ground again. He falls on his back, but then rolls over so he is lying on his chest, and begins to try and crawl. And at this point, people in the crowd can be seen kneeling and getting closer as they are recording what's happening on their phones. And this is where the video then concludes. This is a very short video, but it's insanely graphic. This video is also kind of aggravating to me because the crowd of people around the man are more worried about recording what's happening rather than helping a man who was just cut in half by a train. Obviously, nobody could have helped him at this point, but wouldn't you think at least one person would come over and comfort him in his last moments of life? I don't know, I just think it's sad. Also, what makes it worse is that one of the people in the crowd recording uploaded the video online for the whole world to see.
Of course.
I don't recommend searching for this video at all, as it is very disturbing and not something you want to watch.
This could be
It's
the
crazy.
most hated woman in America. This is 66-year-old Marcella Chidester. And in April of 2024, Marcella took off driving in her vehicle, even though she was far beyond blackout drunk. Now, Marcella was a somewhat distinguished woman in her community in Michigan. She had one point been a Commodore at a place called the Swan Boat Club, a bougie area for people to park their boats, have parties, and to enjoy some time in the sun in the Michigan summer heat. However, on that terrible day in April, Marcella took off driving in her vehicle. Like I said, hammered, drunk, she left the tavern that she was at, and she was speeding through the parking lot of the boat club when she crashed through a wall. Here's a photo of the damage that she caused with her vehicle. And sadly, on the other side of that wall, a children's birthday party was being held. And unfortunately, after striking that wall and crashing into the building at a high speed, 2 children would be killed. Those kids were 8-year-old Lena Phillips and her 4-year-old brother, Zane Phillips. Both of these 2 innocent angels were pronounced dead at the scene. In addition, a 14-year-old male and an 18-year-old female were both seriously injured, all because of Marcella's selfish actions. Marcella's eventual arraignment was absolutely heartbreaking and filled with so many tears from everybody that was there. Truly, the videos and photos of this event are some of the most heartbreaking I think I've ever seen. And as someone that has struggled with alcoholism in my past and kind of beaten it to a degree, stories like this really hit home for me. There's nothing more selfish in this life than getting behind the wheel of a vehicle when you're blackout drunk. It is crazy to me. And it's because of this one woman's selfish actions that there are 2 less children in the world today, and I really hope that she is persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available now on all streaming platforms.
The thing I never got, Secrets, man, it's like, bro, like he said, if you think you can get that, like, you know, man, why don't you just have like a designated driver, call a Lyft or Uber? Like, there's no reason to risk your life or risk somebody else's life just because you trying to drive home. It's never worth it, man. Stories like this make me don't even want to drink. I don't drink, but that's just another sign already of me to stay away from that type of stuff. Blurry actions like that, I stay away from that, man. Where the sky, you know, these edit, call them out when they see him, man.
The man behind me is the real-life human Dracula.
Come again?
His name is Tsutomu Miyazaki. He was born with a deformity that fused his wrists with his hands, so he was bullied a ton growing up. Then one day, later on in adulthood in 1988, something snapped in him. He started abducting little children, specifically little girls, and engaging in necrophilia. He would strangle his victims to death and then engage with their corpse. He would even go as far as removing some of their body parts like their hands and feet and even their teeth. One way that made him also very similar to Jeffrey Dahmer, he would pose these bodies in different ways and photograph them. On one of his last instances before he got caught, he drank the blood of a little girl. And then right after that, he ate her hand. One day, he was at the playground trying to take pictures of more little kids, and the father intervened and stopped him. So Mr. Dracula behind me fled on foot, naked, and was caught by the cops later on. That's when they discovered his disturbing collection of photos and body parts inside of his apartment. However, he blamed it on his alter ego named the Rat Man. They were not playing any games with this guy, they immediately sentenced him to death. The government hung him on June 17th of 2008. Let me know what you guys think about the Rat Man or Dracula in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
This is
disgusting
John
ass
List, and
case.
in 1971, he murdered his entire immediate family before escaping and starting a completely new life that he lived for more than 17 years before he was eventually caught.
How?
This is a wild story. I covered it on the latest episode of my podcast, but here's an overview. In 1951, John List married Helen Taylor, and together they had 3 children, Patricia, John Frederick, and Frederick. List had served in the Army and was an accountant with a successful career, working as a comptroller for a bank in Jersey City, New Jersey. The family lived in a 19-room mansion in Westfield, New Jersey called Breeze Knoll.
Damn.
The 5 of them, along with John's mother, Alma, who was also living with them, were swimming in space there. The family seemed to have a happy life here. It seemed like John was successful, and they weren't super social, but everything seemed fine. The kids were popular and hardworking, and nobody knew anything bad about the family. Behind closed doors, things were not as they seemed. Helen was an alcoholic and was extremely ill from contracting syphilis from her first husband. And John List had lost his job at the bank. But instead of telling his family, he basically went to work every day pretending that he was going to his job and coming home after work hours. And he started skimming money off of his mother's bank account to help pay the mortgage. But then on November 9th, 1971, John List would do the unthinkable. That morning, he dropped the kids off at school and returned home. When he got home, he took out one of his guns, approached his wife of almost 20 years, and shot her in the back of the head. He then went up to the attic apartment where his 84-year-old mother lived and shot her as well. When 16-year-old Patricia and 13-year-old Frederick arrived home from school, List attacked them from behind, shooting them each in the back of the head. List then made himself some lunch. He went into the bank and closed both him and his mother's accounts, and then he went to Westfield High School where he watched his middle son, John Frederick, play a soccer game. After the game, he drove 15-year-old John Frederick home. And when they got home, he attacked. John Frederick tried to fight back, but unfortunately he ended up succumbing to multiple gunshot wounds. List then placed the bodies of Helen, Patricia, John Frederick, and Frederick on top of sleeping bags in the mansion's ballroom. He left Alma up in the attic apartment because she was too heavy to drag down. He then wrote a letter to his pastor confessing what he had done, and he wrote letters to the kids' school saying that they would be gone visiting a sick relative for a few weeks so nobody would suspect them missing. Then he walked around the house and removed every single photo of himself from all of the photo albums. Finally, he started piping religious music throughout the home, and then he left. By the time the bodies were discovered a month later, John List was long gone. And while he was the immediate main suspect in the murders, police didn't have a lot to go on, and they were unable to circulate a recent photo of him because he had removed every single photo of himself from inside the house.
Oh.
The family's car was found at JFK Airport, but John List went undetected for almost 18 years.
Keeping up, the Abigail Project is definitely one of those. It's one of the most disturbing experiments I've ever read about. Sometime in July of 2003, there was a government document that was declassified that talked about an experiment that took place back in 1945, post-war. It was led by Dr. Albert Weston and a team, and their task was to create a biological weapon out of a human. And for some reason, he decided the subject of this experiment was going to be his daughter, Abigail. It was a series of months where she was fed growth hormones, they gave her classified substances, and she had her entire body surgically modified. But the experiment was a failure. She had completely lost touch with who she was no longer cognizant of what was going on, and most of her instincts had reverted into primal instincts. Considering what the doctor had done to his daughter, he would take his life after 2 years into the experiment, and according to these documents, the experiment, meaning her, was lost. Nobody really knows what happened to her.
Never say this out loud, or you will die. There's a cursed Japanese poem called Tornado's Hell. And supposedly, if you read it out loud, you will die or be cursed for life. Now, you can read it in your head. This is where things get crazy. A man named Suji Teriyama decided to make and direct a movie based on the poem. Exactly 1 week after the release of the movie, he suddenly dropped dead. By the way, y'all, I asked y'all to name our new baby, and the highest voted name was Steve. So I guess when this guy hatches, his name will be Steve.
Since we got this baby together, you do owe me child support.
Now this other story is also crazy. There was a schoolgirl that was dared to say the poem out loud. Look, you got friends daring you to do stuff like that. You need to get rid of them. Literally 1 week after doing the dare, she suddenly dropped dead.
Woo, look at that, baby. Look at that. Sheesh.
I flashed the poem somewhere in this video, but I'm telling you, if you find it, don't read it out loud. Or I'm gonna come to your funeral and tell everybody you're stupid. You're stupid.
Okay. Stay away from that poem, Seekers.
This is a scary story about April and her, and it's absolutely shocking.
Alright.
There was a bus driving late at night, and it was completely packed full of people. Suddenly, an old woman on the bus became ill, and she asked the bus driver to stop the bus. They were on a country road surrounded by a forest, so the driver told her to wait. But the old woman began to throw a fit, screaming and yelling at the bus driver, demanding him to stop the bus. The bus driver then pulled over to the side of the road, and the old woman got out and ran into the woods. When the old woman came back from the woods, she was holding a little girl's hand who was crying. When they got back on the bus, everybody asked the little girl what was wrong. She said her mother brought her into the woods and placed her on a tree, then tied a rope around her neck and said, "Whenever you get bored, just jump. Don't worry, it won't hurt."
What?
The old woman said she didn't know why, but she felt something was wrong in the woods. And when she got in the woods, she caught the girl while she was jumping. The bus driver then began to drive again, and he suddenly saw a young woman standing on the road. He then stopped the bus. When the young woman got on the bus, the little girl stood up and said, "Mommy, you promised it wouldn't hurt."
On May 29th of this year, Natalie Reynolds went live on Kick, and shortly after it started, she is seen trying to convince a woman to jump into the lake. The woman then claims that she cannot swim but only float. Natalie then says,
"I'll give you $20. $20? Yeah, that's it.
The woman then jumps into the water, followed by the staff running down the dock, and Natalie acts as if she wasn't just trying to convince the woman to jump in the water. Instead of helping the woman that she knows cannot swim, her and her friends leave the scene and are making jokes about the fact that Natalie thought she was just drunk and not mentally ill.
I can't swim. I can only float.
She literally died.
No, stop. Seriously, don't stop. Please, you're actually freaking me out. No. She said she's drowning. She said she's drowning.
I think you literally just heard.
No, I didn't.
Nah, this is bad.
What the hell?
Since then, Natalie has received a lot of hate, and several people are claiming she should be charged with attempted murder. What are your thoughts? Let me just...
That's crazy, man. You know, kick streaming, bro. Those kick streamers, I've been hearing a lot about them. How they just be doing like degenerate stuff on the internet. They be doing anything and everything for clout views. That goes to show you, man, how far a person would do just to get some attention. That's actually insane.
Ask you, can you tell that there is something wrong with the picture that I'm going to show you? This one is really interesting. So the information I could find on the photo is that we think it was taken by a realtor. He had gone alone to basically inspect a home that was foreclosed on that he was about to put on the market. What's odd about this photo is that if you look at it really closely, you're like, the photo is kind of blurred, like it was taken in motion, because in the background there is something very wrong. Quickly before we get into it, thank you so much for all of the support for my podcast, Creep Time the Podcast. You don't even know how to process being top 10 in the country. That is incredible. If you have not listened, go click the link in my bio. Seen in the background of that photo, it was very clear that he was not alone in that basement. Although he claimed he didn't see anything, he just got a strange feeling, so he kind of took the photo and then rushed out of the room. But this person was confirmed to not be the homeowner. So who was hiding out in that basement?
Who was that? He didn't even see him there?
This is a disturbing cryptid iceberg with actual evidence behind it. Would have posted this video sooner, but it was my birthday 2 days ago and I was out of town, so I'll make sure I give you guys some good ones to make up for me being gone. Okay, so this picture represents cryptids from the least disturbing to the most, and we've already covered this one, so we're gonna go on to tier 3.
Okay.
This is the Dave Shealy's 2000 skunk ape footage, and what you're seeing is in the Florida Everglades, and you can see this skunk ape just moving. I mean, look how quick it is walking. A lot of people believe that this footage is real just because if you've ever been to the Florida Everglades, there's no way somebody can move that fast. Next one is the ivory-billed woodpecker video, and this was an animal that was supposed to be extinct I don't know how many hundreds of years ago, and this one is actually confirmed. It's going to be a little tough to see, but you'll see over here this little bird flying like this. I don't know, it's pretty cool to me. This is the Pennsylvania white Bigfoot video, and what you're looking at is supposed to be a Sasquatch. I don't know, it doesn't really look like Bigfoot to me. The interesting about this video is when they posted this video, they put a white Sasquatch was a really big claim, but what they didn't know is in 1973, 2 girls reported seeing the exact same white Sasquatch in basically the same spot. If you guys want to see tier 4, make sure to like and follow for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. If your plane is crashing into the water, just know that flight attendants are trained to not allow any dead bodies on life rafts. That means no saving grandma for her funeral, simply yeet that bitch overboard.
What?
1 out of every 50 women have a third nipple, and 1 out of every 100 men do too. This is known as a supernumerary nipple, and Mark Wahlberg actually has 1. Harry Styles has 2. Your baby foreskin can be used as replacement skin for burn victims. That means one can quite literally be a dick face. There are corn stars born in the year 2003. That's the same year The Cat in the Hat came out. Male fetuses get boners in the womb, and these can often be seen on ultrasounds. Motherfucker.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest.
On May 26, 2020, Clint Brower went to a laundromat to do some laundry when he noticed a man acting suspicious. That man was Micah Harrington. According to reports, Clint believed Micah had intentions to hurt people, so Clint pulled out a knife and stabbed him over 30 times. And to be clear, Micah never acted out in violence. He then tied a rope around Micah, dragged him into the parking lot, having hopes that someone would, quote, put him back together. If that doesn't make sense to you, it also doesn't make sense to me. When police arrived, Clint was arrested and Micah was pronounced deceased. The mugshot in itself is eerie to know that he was smiling just after taking an innocent man's life. And as of Monday, June 3rd, 2024, Clint has been sentenced to life in prison. What are your thoughts?
Saw the report.
Damn.
Scientists found the largest male specimen of the most venomous spider in the world in Australia. This is the funnel web spider, and the size of it is disgusting, but the thing that freaks me out about it is the strength of the damn thing. We're talking fangs so sharp they can apparently crack through a fingernail. A fingernail?
Oh.
What? And nothing prepared me to actually see a close-up of the fangs. Baby, this is a woolly mammoth.
Creepy facts that you shouldn't read. Your mind gets sense when someone is staring at you even when you're asleep, which explains why you randomly wake up during the night. Spirits are more active at night and mostly exist in air-conditioned rooms. They look and stare at you at night. They read your mind and try to speak and show your future dreams. Follow if you're scared.
Has that happened to any of you guys, Seekers? Especially about, like, waking up at night?
Breaking news, they've officially released Riley Strain's toxicology results. This information was released today by the Tennessee's chief medical examiner. The report shows that Riley Strain's blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. His blood alcohol level was .228, and he also had Delta-9 in his system. Delta-9 is a classic form of THC. This would be the THC you heard about in health class growing up. The effects of Delta-9 are typically increased appetite, elation, relaxation, talkativeness, and laughter. The report still classifies Riley Strain's passing as accidental, and there were no signs of significant trauma. His exact COD is listed as, quote, drowning in ethanol intoxication. Riley Strain's family is doing their own investigation into his passing to see if he was overserved or if any foul play took place. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Did you know that the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt actually has Chucky's eyes? The dolls were made by the same person, and when HBO started running out of money to make the show, they needed him to just start using parts he had lying around, so the doll's actually made with a lot of the animatronics that Chucky used and his eyes. Now you know.
The murder of McKinley Chick-fil-A Marie has to be my favorite case of all time. Like, I actually get butterflies in my stomach every time I revisit this case. I'm just so fascinated by the killer. He was so dedicated. He was gorgeous. Super, super dreamy. Like, if he wasn't behind bars, I would probably be with him. And just how dedicated he was to chopping her into bits and pieces. I mean, he really had no remorse, and we almost have to appreciate that. Like, the fact that he carried this chainsaw around for miles and miles, and after chopping her up, it just wasn't enough that he decided to also set on fire. I'm like, there's something hot about that. Siri, play This Girl Is on Fire. We can make jokes now, guys. It's been a long time. The best part about this is that this killer had no remorse. During the court hearing, he actually sat and looked her family members dead in the eyes. Dead, get it, guys? And he actually just laughed the entire time. And you know what? I can appreciate a man who doubles down. Also, disclaimer before people get their panties in a twist, I'm being super, super respectful of the family. I'm only sharing things that I've seen already on the internet, so I'm not making things up. These are just facts, and I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Check this out. A YouTuber just found the devil in Alaska. What? The footage at the end is the scariest thing I've ever seen, fam. It's crazy. It's crazy. Luke Nichols, a popular YouTuber from the United States, has just encountered Satan himself in the mountains of Alaska. This is the reason nobody wants to visit Alaska, bro. This is terrifying. So Luke, known for his love for the outdoors, a veteran for outdoor extreme camping and survival, getting the nickname Luke the Nuke Nichols. He had been exploring the Alaskan mountains nearby the Noem territory. The fierce weather conditions made his trip more difficult. He was out on his snowmobile on his way to catch some fish with his son when suddenly they came across a random hole in the ground. They were terrified. They immediately turned back but heard a voice calling out. He turned around, and within the darkness of the night he saw horns, then flames, and realized he was staring into the eyes of the devil. He took out his phone to video it. To see the video, comment Mr. Nightmare, and we will send it via DM.
Oh. Is that like a cat?
Has anybody ever heard of the Silent Man ritual? It's a ritual that you should never do. Who is the Silent Man, you may ask? The Silent Man is a demon that was casted down from heaven, a demon that hates noise. Many people say if you play this game and win, you'll gain never-ending good luck and fortune. However, many people who played and lost say that they've got everything in their lives, everything good, taken away from them. But not only that, but a lot of people who play the Silent Man ritual have reported that they've actually lost their voice over time after playing this game. If you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. The Silent Man hates noise. They say to call upon the Silent Man. First step is to turn off all the electronics in your house. The second step is to light a candle and go to a window. Supposed to whisper quietly at the window. Silent Man, I invite you in. Around 25 times. Now you have to understand to win this game that you have to stay quiet. You'll see a man outside your window. The more noise you make in your house, the closer this man will get to your house until he's inside your house. This is why I recommend nobody to play this game. Do you guys think I should play this game on live stream? Then heart this video and follow my account. Let me know in the comments. Yo, this picture.
I never play those freaking games, those virtual games. That's just like bad energy, bad juju all around. I completely stay away from those, man. I don't see how people can even risk that. That ain't me.
It makes me so sad but so happy at the same time. But this is an updated photo of the Menendez brothers. If y'all are not familiar with the Menendez brothers case, it is an old case. I really feel like they should not be in prison for what they did. But they unalived their parents and they got charged with it. And after going to court and talking about basically that they were SA'd over the course of their childhood, and the reason why they did this is because it got really bad and they felt like they had no other way out. They were still convicted of it and charged with, I believe, life in prison. But there have been a lot of petitions to get them out of prison and get, a retrial or consideration to let them out or give them lesser time or something, because these men have been in prison like so long. And look at them, y'all. They look so good. Like, this makes me so, I don't know why this picture makes me so happy.
What do you guys think about that case? Like I said, a lot of people's calling for their release. And they got out. I want to see you guys' thoughts down below on that one. They fled. Tax money. The root of all evil. Maybe that's how they was able to afford that house and that car. Tax fraud. They just got up and vanished like ghosts and they couldn't catch you? The whole mansion. They just had to pack up and disappear. So they got away with it. They didn't even get caught. Come on, man. You gotta be on top of things like that. So people can't get away with that, man. Lived in that big ass mansion, had all those cars.
At 3:15 a.m. Okay. You might be cursed. Like, why though? Legit. So I don't know if you ever heard about the Amity House. No. This is a real haunted house. I believe in the States somewhere. So they claim this house to be one of those houses that is truly attached to demons. Now, the story goes that there was this man. They said a voice came to his head and told him his 3 family members, his 2 daughters, and his wife. Now it's weird.
16 little girls that brutally unalived their best friend because they didn't like her anymore. Skylar Neese may have been an only child, but she had a sister-like bond with her best friend Sheila. The girls were like 2 peas in a pod and did everything together. Their freshman year of high school, they added a 3rd best friend, Rachel, making them an inseparable trio. Like most friend groups in high school, there was some jealousy, like if 2 of the friends hung out and didn't invite the 3rd, stuff like that. And that's how Skylar was feeling going into their sophomore year of high school. Like Sheila and Rachel were getting closer and kind of kicking Skylar out. Then in the middle of the night on July 6, 2012, Skylar snuck out of her house and never came home. Skylar was missing. Her parents are panicked. Her best friends Sheila and Rachel are acting concerned as well. Sheila would spend a lot of time with Skylar's parents, supporting them, crying with them, asking for updates, and asking if there was anything she could do to help. And the longer that Skylar was missing, the more that rumors started to spread. From things like Skylar ran off with a boyfriend, to Skylar fled after robbing a bank, to Skylar's best friends Sheila and Rachel were involved. At this point, the investigators were actually pretty convinced that Sheila and Rachel knew more than they were letting on. Both of the girls' stories were nearly identical, like they had been rehearsed. At this point, the police's theory was that the 3 girls snuck out the house to maybe use substances and something accidentally happened to Skylar, and Sheila and Rachel were just covering it up because they were scared of getting in trouble. They could have never prepared for what actually happened. Following Skylar's disappearance, Sheila was pretty carefree, but Rachel, on the other hand, was having a nervous breakdown and had to be admitted to a psychiatric facility. And upon release, Rachel confessed that her and Sheila had stabbed Skylar 50 times and had planned the attack for months. And even more shocking was their motive. that they didn't like her anymore and didn't want to be friends with her. To this day, Sheila has never shown any remorse to what she did to her best friend and is seen as the evil ringleader and was sentenced to life in prison. Due to Rachel's confession, she was sentenced to 30 years in prison. She was up for parole very recently, but it was denied. But I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Do you really think that two 16-year-old girls would brutally unalive their best friend just because they didn't want to be friends with her anymore? I feel like there has to be more to this